Tonight, a powerful moment unfolded on late-night television. It was about more than just jokes, it was about our right to speak freely. Jimmy Kimmel returned to his stage. He walked out to a standing ovation. The standing ovation seemed to last forever. The applause wasn't just for a comedian, it was for a principal. The audience in that Hollywood studio and millions watching at home felt the weight of the moment. Kimmel, visibly moved, stood there taking it in. The emotion was palpable. He wasn't just returning to a show, he was returning to a fight he never expected to lead. A fight for the soul of American discourse. This was not just another monologue. This was a statement. The energy in the room was electric. You could see it on the faces of the audience members. They were not there just for entertainment. They were there to show support. There to stand with someone at the center of a national firestorm. His emotional return was a reminder that in the United States the monologue must, and always will, go on. To understand the power of tonight's monologue, we have to go back to what led to his absence. It all began with a joke in a monologue that took aim at the First Lady, Melania Trump. The joke was criticized by some as being in poor taste. It sparked outrage. That outrage was then amplified by President Trump himself. In a late-night tweet, the president called for Kimmel to be fired. He attacked the parent company ABC and put immense pressure on the network. The result was a 2-week suspension for Kimmel, a move that sent shockwaves through media and entertainment. The suspension became a flashpoint in a larger cultural debate. Where is the line in political comedy? What is the role of a network under pressure from the highest office? For 2 weeks, the silence from Kimmel's show was deafening. Tonight, Kimmel didn't shy away from it. He addressed the incident head-on. He clarified the joke, acknowledging that comedy is subjective, and that he understood why some were offended. But the apology wasn't the main event. It was the prelude to a passionate defense of his profession and his rights. He argued that when a president uses his power to silence a comedian, it's not just an attack on one person. It is an attack on the First Amendment. It is an attempt to intimidate and chill speech, not just for him, but for everyone. Kimmel then broadened his message, taking it beyond the borders of the United States. He wanted to give his audience a powerful and sobering dose of perspective. He shared stories he had received from comedians in other countries. These were not household names in America, they were performers in nations where free speech is not a given. He spoke of a comedian in Turkey who was jailed for a joke about a government official. He mentioned a satirist in Russia who lives in constant fear of reprisal. These were chilling, real-world examples of what happens when governments are allowed to punish speech they do not like. The contrast he drew was stark and intentional. In those countries, a joke can cost you your freedom. It can cost you your life. In America, Kimmel argued, a joke might cost you a suspension. It might get you angry tweets, but the government cannot and should not be able to silence you. The freedom that American comedians enjoy, the freedom to stand on a stage and mock the most powerful person in the world, is a precious and fragile thing. It is a right that others have fought and died for, and one that we cannot afford to take for granted. His monologue became a lesson in civic responsibility. He wasn't just telling stories, he was issuing a warning. He was reminding his audience that the rights enshrined in the Constitution are not self-sustaining. They must be actively defended. In a surprising and incredibly human turn, Kimmel shifted his focus to forgiveness. He spoke about Erica Kirk, the woman who had initially posted the viral clip of his joke that sparked the outrage. He revealed that she had faced a torrent of abuse online from his own supporters. Kimmel condemned that behavior in no uncertain terms. He also made a point to thank his supporters, and he noted that the support came from some unexpected places. He mentioned prominent conservative commentators and politicians who had publicly defended him. They made it clear they were not fans of his comedy. They made it clear they disagreed with his politics. But they were unequivocal in their defense of his First Amendment rights and their condemnation of the president's actions. Kimmel expressed his profound gratitude for their integrity. He said it gave him hope. It showed him that the principle of free speech could still bridge our country's cavernous political divide. This led to his final call to action. It was a plea for unity around a shared value. He asked his audience, regardless of who they voted for, to stand up for free speech for everyone, especially for the speech they don't like. He argued that protecting the rights of your opponents is the true test of your commitment to freedom. This, he insisted, is the work of every American citizen who values their liberty. Tonight, Jimmy Kimmel did more than reclaim his show. He used his platform to issue a powerful, empathetic, and deeply patriotic defense of a core American ideal. His emotional return was a reminder that in the United States, the monologue must, and always will, go on.